here.
Hey, Leanna, if you want to make sure, you can see our screen large, then you hover over Carrie's name and click the three dots and pin our window to the large screen. That way you can see the board.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, so before we get started, I would like to make sure everyone can log in, and then I'll show you some things, but I want to make sure everyone can log in. And then if somebody can't, then we can have Jason work on it while I'm showing you. So it's cammyapp.com, and you can sign in with Google. It's paid for by the system, so everyone should, their Google account should unlock it. cammyapp.com. And then just sign in with Google. And yours may look a little different when you sign in. You may also have to allow it some permissions and different things. Sign in and sign in with Google.
Brooklyn is devastated. She doesn't be with you anymore. Amy wants to allow access.
Yeah. You can just say no. Just sign in and allow it access, and that way we can just make sure it works before we start it.
Yes.
I did not. Yeah, it's fine. Because mine used to look like that. Now, in fact, before Christmas, that's what mine looked like. So, all right. So I just wanted to make sure. Did everyone get in? You tried? All right. So I don't need to email Jason. That's good. That's always a plus when you can start off not emailing the tech department. All right. So Cami is a much easier version of like Adobe, like a PDF reader, right? So, Cami is you may have gotten something sent to you in Cami before. It allows you to edit the PDF in any way you want. So, you may like to open your things automatically in Cami, or you may not. Does anyone use it? Has anyone used it over here?
That's what I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
Yeah. All the things. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to. Nice. All right. So if you're in your drive and you want to open with something with Cami, you can right click on it, and this open with should allow you to pick open with Cami. So that's one way to do it. I have mine automatically set to open everything in Cami, which you may not want to do if you're not using it a lot, but I did want to show you how to make it do that if you wanted to. So under settings, manage apps, and this is actually important for all of your apps. This is how you get to all of them in your drive. So mine is set to annotate, use Cami by default. That's checked. So if you've got something that's not working right on your computer, then it's probably one of these apps that you should turn on or off, like this.
Where do you go to settings? The wheel.
The cog. Cog settings, manage apps. So this is actually good to know just in general. So I had one called Orbit Note. I have no idea what it is or how it got on my computer. I think that it's connected with the Google Read and Write, but it was messing up some things on mine, so I had to turn it off. So this is just good information to know that that's where your default things are. Or if you don't like using a certain thing, then uncheck it. Got it, Mamie?
Well, you have to go into my drive.
I probably wouldn't turn that on unless you know for sure you want it.
My settings thing is not.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to open a Scope article that I used last year with my kids. Scope is the same as Storyworks for y'all. It's the middle school version of, is it called Storyworks? Okay, that's what I thought. I get them mixed up all the time. So last year when I was doing virtual, I would scan a story and upload it so the kids could use it because they couldn't get the magazines. But when you scan something, the first time you open it with Cami, hopefully this is, yeah. So it's going to ask me, do I want to run text recognition? All right. So text recognition, it's also called OCR. Anytime you see that in any app somewhere, it's optical character recognition. So you'll see that in a lot of places becoming really popular. So what it does is a PDF is just a picture of something, right? So it looks at it and it says, hey, that looks like a letter. Hey, that looks like a word. And then it will translate it and it will actually read it. So I scanned this article for my kids last year, and using Cami, I could actually run text recognition before I sent it to them, or the kids could, and it will read the article to them. So anything you scan, anything you've got already made that you want to read to the children, that you want it to read to the children, scan it on the copy machine and email it to yourself. Okay. Now with Scope, it doesn't do great all the time because the columns are kind of narrow. So it's a little choppy on short columns, but if it's across a page, it sounds pretty good. So I'm going to click read aloud and just click right here.
Just before 11 p.m., Captain Charles McVale retired to his cabin.
And it doesn't sound bad. And I literally scan this on the copy machine and emailed it to myself. Done. Okay. So if you used it for nothing else.
You just put it on the board and raise it aloud.
Yeah. Or you send it to the kids in Google Classroom.
And if you already let it do the text recognition.
It should be on the document.
Okay, for the kids.
Generally, the first time you open something, it will prompt you for text recognition. If it does not, the hamburger 3-line menu, there's a text recognition button and you can click it and run text recognition. So if you get nothing else out of today, text recognition. Okay. People are right, and I don't remove them. All right, the next thing that I want to show you from the Cami app. Now, some of yours have just a column with the things, and that's the way mine was the other day with just 4 or 5 things to pick from. But they all have a split and merge on them. So split and merge allows you to take PDFs, 1, 2, 3, pull out the pages that you don't want and throw them away and put new ones in and get them in the order that you want them. So like when you buy things from Teachers Pay Teachers, it comes as one PDF, right? You generally have an instruction sheet that you don't want to give to the kids, and you generally have an answer key that you don't want to give to the kids. So if you use split and merge, you can take those things out and then send it to the kids without the pages you don't want them to have. Okay. So I've clicked split and merge. I'm going to find the files in my drive. I'm going to use this one. So it's going to pull in the documents that I want. All right, so these are just 2 that I scanned on the copy machine. So it doesn't even have to be a PDF you already have. They're scanned on the copy machine. This is a food web. It's turned sideways. Well, I don't want to give it to the children sideways on the computer. So I'm going to use this to rotate it and get it the direction that I want. And then this one is the worksheet and then an answer key. I don't want them to have the answer key. So I'm going to delete the answer key. And I'm going to move this up, and that's going to be the first page of my new little worksheet packet that I'm going to give to them. So then I'm going to export this, and I'm going to save it to my Google Drive. I'm going to put it right here. Oh, I could have changed the name too, but I didn't. Okay, so now it's on my drive as copy of Energy Pyramid 1. Okay. So this is my new file, and it's just the things that I wanted to give the kids. So see how it automatically opened in Cami? That's how you can set that or not. So now it's the 2 pages that I wanted them to have and not the answer key that I didn't want them to have. Okay. That's also pretty exciting. How, do you guys assign thing? I mean, I know that third grade assigns a good bit in Google Classroom. Does second grade? Okay. Even if you're just giving it as a resource, not something that they complete in Google Classroom, that's still easy to get them a resource this way. And then it will read it to them. I can't remember.
The flow of materials and energy in an ecosystem is the result of.
And so that already works because I ran it on this the first time I opened it at however long ago, last year when I gave it to the kids. Okay. All right. So let's say that I don't like these instructions right here. So I'm going to make a text box. I'm going to fill it with white and I'm going to cover those instructions right there because I don't like it. Okay. And I'm going to put some new instructions on here. Okay. And if I resave this, it's going to be all one thing versus if you tried to do that on a Word document or whatever, the kids could drag the box away and still see the stuff underneath. But if I resave this, it's going to be one PDF with my new instructions on it, and no one's ever even going to know there was other stuff behind there. Okay. I love new instructions. Okay. Also, what I did a couple of times last year, and I really like this, is the comment feature. You can add a text comment, you can add a voice comment, you can add a video comment, or a screen capture. So let's say I wanted to give kids instructions for this, and I didn't want to have to give it to them 14 times. I would tell them once in class, but then when they were working on it, they could listen to my instructions. So I'm going to put a screen capture on here. And I want it to be right there. It's going to ask me what screen. I want to record this one. And so I'm going to give instructions and I'm going to say, all right, on this one, you guys make a text box and fill in the different animals from this chart right here that are the different levels of consumers. And then here on this food pyramid, I want you guys to use the insert feature to put in pictures of different animals that fall at different levels of this food pyramid. So you need to have animals that are the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary. And then any grass or anything else you need to include. Say done. And then the kids can listen to my instructions. So you don't have to say it again and again and again. And they've got a video that shows them the page I'm talking about when they're on that page. You know what I'm saying? So
So does that stay up?
It stays.
Click that button to
It's
see it,
there.
or just
It's
the
there.
whole time?
Mhm. Yeah. And so when they see that button, they know, oh, this one goes with this. And she's going to, so there could be more than, there could be more than one. Yeah. And I see how this is flashing. I would have, if I were really going to leave that, I probably would have saved it so it wouldn't flash anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yes, cancel. That's bothering me. This is flashing. All right. So I would just save this again, and then I would assign it to the kids in Google Classroom. Let me show you this before I assign it in Google Classroom. So this signature feature, the kids probably aren't going to use that and probably don't need it, but for you, it's really cool. So last year, Stephen and I bought some property and we had to both sign. You couldn't go into any of the things. You had to sign it and send it back in. So with this signature tool, I can upload an image that I already have. I can draw a signature on my computer, which I would not recommend because trying to draw your signature with the mouse is hideous. Or I can click draw signature on phone and it's going to email me the link. And if I go to my email, it sent me this to start a drawing. And I can sign my name, save it, and it's going to upload it, and then it will be one of my choices to insert onto the document. So I was able to get mine and Stephen's signatures really quickly on what I needed to send back to the lawyers. So, I mean, that's totally personal use, but it's really cool. All right, so let's assign this in Google Classroom. So classwork, create, and there's an option you've probably seen for a Kami assignment. So I'm gonna click that one. It automatically opens the thing for the kids in Kami. So that's, if you're gonna have them draw or manipulate the PDF in any way, then that's the best way to do it. So. All right, and then I just find the file. I don't know if that was it or not, but one of the things that I do like is this control features. So if you click on that, you can turn tools off. You can turn off the video comment if you don't want them leaving video comments. You can, if you only want them to be able to draw and put boxes or use the text tool, then those are the only ones you leave active. So I do like that you can, because they're all there, they're going to play with all of them, right? So you can limit it. So I do like that feature. And then everything else assigns the same: due date, topic, all those things. Did you guys schedule assignments? But it only lets you schedule for one class at a time, right? You can't schedule. I think you can only schedule for the class you're in. That's changing soon. Yeah. And I think you can even set different times for different classes is what it's going to. So you could set one time for your first block and then a time for your second block all at one time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You can assign something to everybody all at once, but if you're going to schedule, I think it only lets you schedule one, but pretty soon, and maybe now, because that looks different than what I normally see. So maybe it's active now. Hopefully it is.
Kids have to have anything downloaded on there, so as soon as they click on this assignment, it'll automatically take them to Kami. They don't have to have any.
If you assign it with Kami, then it should force it open for them. If it's just something that you've shared with them in their drive, then they could right click on it and open with Kami. Just like, yeah.
How hard is it for them? Like, I know if like you text something, they delete it or whatever. And then how hard is it if you want them to like add text?
I mean, I don't think it's that hard. And I don't think if they've done it a few times, it's that hard. I mean, obviously the first time they do anything is a disaster. So if it's something you wanted to use, I'm going to actually, I think I maybe already emailed it to y'all. Oh no, I hadn't sent it yet, but it's just a little thing to play with and practice the tools. So you could give that to them to practice the tools before you actually used it. Okay. All right, so here's the sample assignment that I was showing when I trained in my school. So I assigned it to everybody and I made a copy for everybody, right? That's important when you assign things, make a copy for everyone. And I said, all right, we're going to do some group work and Sam and Brian and Jordy are going to work together. So everybody work on Brian's. So here's his. I'm looking at it. It's not even turned in, but I can look and see what he's doing, what they're all doing. See these initials down at the bottom? These are the kids who are working on this document. So I can turn off everybody's and there's nothing on here now. If I turn on Brian's, I can see the work that he's done. I can see the work that Jordy's done.
See if they're actually working.
And I can see that Sam has done one thing. Shocking. Sam Robinson is not doing his work.
So how did they, okay, so did you set up
So-
a group ahead of time?
So it would just depend on how you wanted to do this. So you could, this would be way more work on your part, but maybe needed for your kids, depending. If I were going to do this with kids who I was unsure of, I would have taken this assignment and I would have named it Group 1 assignment, and then I would have assigned it to just those kids.
Okay.
What I did, because middle schoolers can kind of handle it, I assigned it to everybody and made everybody their own copy. And then I said, all right, Brian, you and Sam and Jordy are working together. Brian, you share yours with Sam and Jordy. That way you can all be on that. So that was easier for me,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
For our age,
Yeah, I don't think they
like,
can
when
handle
I've
it.
done group work, I've always like just had like 4 different assignments, but like group 1,
Yeah.
and I assigned it to those 4 kids.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
group
would do.
2, those 4 kids.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
When you say share, does that mean they were all sharing his computer? Or
No.
He shared.
He shared it,
His document.
his
with
document.
them.
Mhm. But if you did it like that, you wouldn't make every kid a copy. You would just assign them that copy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And they would all type on the same one.
Yes.
But their initials would still be. Now, to be able to see this, so I had a little struggle with this grade with Kami. It wouldn't show up. So you can check it or uncheck it. If it's checked, it automatically opens all the tools for you and you can still do comments, whatever, just like you could before. but mine wouldn't show up. So that's why I showed you that in the settings to manage the apps, I had to go in and turn off that Orbit one that was messing because it was opening my PDFs in Orbit. I don't even know what that is or why it was doing it. So if you don't have this, then there's some app that needs to be turned off and we can figure it out. All right, so I do think that's really cool. Let me show you.
They can see each other's work
Mhm.
when they are. in.
Yeah. And I know that if you go on a Google Doc, you can see the version history and see all the things but it's still time. So you can see it each time what everyone's done. You can't just see what one kid's done. So this is a little bit different way to look at it, and I think makes it a little easier.
Well, and if a parent questions why that child got it 75.
Yeah.
Look, this is what he did.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And
Right.
and does it automatically put the initials down there, or what did
Yes.
you have to do?
No,
You
it does.
have to
These
do
are the
it.
kids who are
You
shared
have
with
to
this
put them
stuff.
in a
This
group.
is after you assign it to that one person and he shared it with his.
Mhm.
buddy.
Yeah.
Since it
Then
was
they come up.
shared, that's why it puts that
Yes.
down there. If they had not shared it,
It would-
it would not.
if
put it.
they-
For our age, like I
I
would
would-
just have
yeah.
that on like at one assignment for those 4
Mhm.
kids. But you would still see that, right?
Yes, you would
So-
still see it.
Because our
kids-
kids. One document.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would still put the initials down to the
Mhm.
4 that have the.
Uh-huh. Because if she did it, it would still be shared with those kids. It'd be just shared from her. Yeah. That's how I would do it at this age.
Yeah. Because like I've had kids like go in and like they would delete what another kid did, not on purpose, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean.
Yeah, and you never assign one thing to everybody in your classroom. Never, because then they have yours. And and never want them having yours. Even just doing something like a slideshow where everyone has their own slide number. It's it's too much.
Because 3 kids are working on the same slide. I'm
Even
like,
though you said you're number 4.
"That's not your name up here."
All right, so I wanted to show you just some of the things that the kids did and just their different interpretations of using Kami. And this is one of the activities that Stacy does with her 7th grade social studies class. And so I sent it to my virtual kids last year. So this is Rosie's. They just had to label and color the countries or the political features on this map. So she outlined them and put a dot and then put a text box on it. So that was her interpretation of it. Kendall colored them in. Rory just put a box in that color with it. So they all had different interpretations, and every single one of them used a different tool to complete the assignment, but it was fine, you know. So they're all going to come up with a different way to do it, and it's fine. They're going to figure it out. You know, these were kids. I mean, I know they were 7th graders last year, but they had never used Kami before. And I sent them out assignment virtually and said, here you go, you know, with 0 instruction. Now these were 3 girls who can handle things. I mean, they were about the only 3 girls that did anything last year. And I had 90 kids at one point. It was not a fun year last year. All right, so I'm going to send you, let me make sure that's everything on my list here. I think so. All right, so I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you something for you to work on.
Good luck with that.
Did I already send? Oh, that's
I think
it.
you said it.
Maybe I sent it.
I know.
Okay, so download this, or if you just click on it, one of the options from the drop-down menu here should be annotate with Kami. And so these are just some different, just to get you to use the tools on the side. And this will be something I would give the kids prior to them doing something I wanted them to do, you know? Yes, I sent it to your email. I sent it, because I didn't have your email addresses, so the one Carrie sent out with the Zoom link, I just replied all to that
So
one.
now where it said run text recognition, will it ask that every time? or
The
will it
first
know-
time it opens the document, it will ask that. So if you click run text recognition, then it'll read the instructions to you.
Hey,
And literally, this is something I printed and scanned because I wanted to be able to say, it was something I just scanned and sent to me on the copy machine yesterday.
I I have to download it. It won't let me from my email. Are you saying you can go? if you-
So when I clicked on it here in my email, then right here at the top, it probably says Google Docs, but you can click annotate with Cami. Some people, if not, you can download it and then go back to this page and click on my computer. Yeah, yeah. So if you haven't accepted permissions or whatever it was, that option won't be there. So just download it and you can go back here and open it from your computer. If you want to, we'll read it to you. Read the instructions. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was saying. There's so many things that don't.
And then download the thing.
That was the
So after it comes up in Candy, what do you put in the room?
When they download it, they get to that.
Okay, that's fine. You can download it. So when you downloaded it, it goes to your Cami app.
Your meeting.
Yeah. We just thought it was.
Did you download
I mean.
So let's do it. Sure.
She said just click.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yes.
So now that you've used it at least once, when you have one from your email, this option should be here now. So instead of clicking on the download arrow, if you just click on it to see the preview, that option should be there for anything now. If you send yourself something from the copier or whatever. So even if you didn't necessarily use it for the kids to annotate on something or whatever, being able to have it read things to them or for you to make your own PDF with just the pages you want, in the order you want, turn the direction you want is pretty helpful.
It's in here, but it won't open it. It's like, oh, huge.
So no. All right, so it's there. So let's go to Cami. This is on your drive.
You gotta go through Candy to open it up.
As opposed to download.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's same, you know, you're getting the same. Did you guys start it?
Mommy scavenger hunt.
Purchased by your approved use. So that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
That would have been helpful.
But what, the reason it says that is because we're in a document that's on your drive, access to the document. It's not saying like- Oh, it's not. Yeah.
If you do that download button, you know, like on from the email, they click download, it went there and you access it from your computer stuff. Is that, I think on Melinda's, you had to save it and it like had went ahead and went into Google Drive.
So you can, I mean, when you download, you can download to your computer or to your drive, either way. I mean, just depending on what you want to do with it. And then if it's in your drive, you can right click on it and open with Cami. You don't have to.
But Like if we open it, it's really not, if we just clicked on it and open it to annotate with Cami, you still have to
How
save it.
when I get things in email, I generally don't click on either one of those buttons. I open it in this preview
Right.
and then do what because generally I just want to print it or something like
Right,
that.
right, yeah.
So, and it's
Yeah.
easiest to print from.
Yeah.
It's
If
just
you made
whichever way
changes- if
that
you made
you
changes to it and
work.
stuff right now, like if I clicked,
So it's not open right now. It's just
Right.
looking at a preview of it.
yeah, but can I go ahead and click on?
So now it opens it right up.
And if you do anything and make changes and stuff and just
It does-
save it, you just go over here to
Mhm.
save and
And you can save it to your drive or your
it
desktop.
gives you those options. Where we want to put in.
Okay, so when my kids will put, let's say they've done something in Google Classroom, am I gonna, like, when I look at it, is this what's gonna show up in their Google Classroom? Whatever they changed or made? Okay.
So if you don't have that check on Grade with Cami, it will still show it to you. It's just not gonna give you the tool to add things yourself or whatever. You may not want this, you may not care about that, but it's still gonna show it to you the way it looks from them. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's gonna show like where they like underlined their main ideas
Yeah.
or circled words
Yeah.
they didn't know or,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna tell them about the computers too. Here. I know that makes you nervous.
No, I feel like they'll get them.
All
I
right,
just need
so-
kindergarten first with it. Well, second grade may not.
So the hope, fingers crossed, they've written I don't know what it is. Something, they have to do a bid for the new Chromebooks that will maybe be touchscreen for the kids. Could you imagine this with touchscreen for the kids? Yeah. But not
Ours aren't gonna be touchscreen, right?
sure, this won't be.
Leanna's like, I'll try to
Yes.
call her and I'm like, oh shoot, I wish I could. I hate
I do, because I have a touchscreen Chromebook now, and I do like it on Chromebook, but my everyday,
It's probably not a problem.
Mary has one.
So I want something, this is like, you know, I want something that I can like a tablet that connects to my board where I can be like circling things and underlining things and it shows up on my board. Is that?
I wish the document camera was that way, because I love my document camera, but it puts me at a desk.
Yeah.
And then I
Right,
just
that's
stop and get
that's
up the
what I
tablet
want.
and
I
go
want to be able
back.
to walk around and monitor and like, you know, but I want to be able to, you know.
So
connect.
it's kind of like this. So that, I don't know which boards the high school's getting, but we had to go through a thing the other day. Well, the high school got torn down. They're getting new stuff and they built it back. But the new boards they're I don't know if they're gonna get Promethean or the ViewSonic one. I voted for the ViewSonic one. If they buy those, they'll give everyone the programming. And it allows you to let kids participate and share their screen from where they're sitting in the classroom. Which is, I mean,
Yeah.
so you could share your screen
Right.
from somewhere else. And if you have an extra Chromebook that's a touchscreen, they actually fold back like a tablet. So maybe, but I'm not promising anything.
That would be a while before we got the new.
But we might get
display.
but they might give us the software. He said they would give everyone the software. That's what he said.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, because I was thinking, well, if I could at least get my teachers going on the software before they had to do the software and a board all at once. Because my teachers don't use the touch at all. They never had Promethean boards. They had these that are terrible.
Feeling
It's
like
not.
I'm
What is it?
Yeah.
Well,
And like the annotate.
Yeah.
And it.
So my teachers don't use this at all. It's just a projector. It's a really expensive projector because they're all at their desk with a document camera, which I get because you never want to do this in the class. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, be able to, I get that. Because even when I had a smart board, I still used the old overhead projector a lot in my classroom. A long time ago. But I still used it when I modeled math problems because I could look at them and look them in the eye while I was talking to them. You know, I don't want to be like this and no one's listening because no one's listening. Let's be real. No one in middle school is listening when your back is turned. They're not listening when you're looking at them in the eye.
Starts around 8
That was the Promethean software.
But it still works without.
Yes.
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 I don't know what it is, it will not work. I gotta wait to in and it won't work.
You said.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say that you use it, it works every day. Don't even let me know.
You know, like,
You're gonna curse it.
If it's not, I'm gonna put it. I mean.
Yes, that's true,
how-
that's true.
And I would be lost
Yeah.
without.
Yeah. I would rather.
Me too.
It's game changer.
What document cameras do you have at middle school? They're
Everybody has something different. I have a little $60 one that I taught with all last year that I
That's
had
what,
for.
when that Bremen Foundation grant comes out, like, that's what I wrote mine for. I mean, I don't mind just sending you over.
Now, if I were buying one and spending lots of money, I would buy one that didn't need my computer to run it. You know, they sell them that just run on their own and will just hook to the board on their own. So your computer doesn't have to be hooked to it all the time. That's what I would buy if I were spending money on one. If I were writing a grant for it, that's what I would do. Then you're not.
The one I had just is so dark. So
How do you get that?
You're talking about just virtual then?
I had to teach virtual.
No, I'm talking about how would you use the board then? So it doesn't have to be manually connected, it can be virtually connected or?
It still has to connect with ours connect with an HDMI, but you don't have, well, some of them have to have the computer to run them. And then newer ones can just run on their own. They have a little storage hard drive.
I have a Hubcam and it's great, but what? That's what, when I was at the academy, that's what most of fourth grade had, and they were very user friendly. I loved it. It has light, like.
Just get your desk lamp there too.
And it has a lamp on it, just
Yeah.
what is it? That one wasn't.
That's what I had too.
Mine does not work well. It just says it, I mean, you just can't see it, you turn around and think all of it.
So can I show you one more fun thing and we can be done? So I just saw this and wanted to show you. It's called classroomscreen.com. You can set your own background or it's got backgrounds, but it's got a bunch of user-friendly tools. So you can, it's free and there's a paid version. This is the free version, but you can make a name list of your kids. It's a random name generator. There's dice. There's a sound level thing to tell them if they're getting too loud, or stoplight, timer, clock, watch. Like, it's just kind of a bunch of tools that you might use all in one place.
Yeah, but then they sit there and try to make them go up.
Gets you sound level and the timer going at the same time. Although the timer freaks some kids out.
It does.
Some kids can handle it.
I like the dice option.
Like we did the PSAT the other day in the library and those kids were like, do not put up a timer. I can't. I can't handle the countdown because they don't finish. When they take the PSAT, they don't finish, you know, and those kids can't handle that. Not at all. All right, that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
We just need to get in there to plan this out.
So we're gonna save this and we'll put it on YouTube. So if you want to go back to any of them, yeah. Yeah. Leanna, are you good?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I've
No,
got
it's okay.
the girlies today.
All right, we're gonna end this so we can get it uploaded, okay?
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.